Yeah, well, okay. I was thinking of Alex. Do you know the region of Italy called like South Tyrol, Südtirol? It's like a prominently German speaking area of Italy. You know, this happens a lot in Europe. Like whatever the boundaries are drawn, and something gets cut off, and they're like way up in the mountains in the Alps, and they're like hugely like we want to secede from Italy, and I don't know, rejoin Austria or Germany or just do something. I don't know, and like but nothing happens with it. That they just state this and they do what they want up there, and
Like
I become
Austria and Italy nearly went to war this year because Austria was like, we should just give them all Austrian passports, and Italy was just like, fuck off.
yeah,
That's
it's
the
a
twist this year needs.
it would be a throwback, right? Austria and Italy going to war.
It's like World War One throwback, yeah.
Yeah, but instead of like everybody joining in due to military alliances, we just watch and have it all on TikTok or whatever. No one feels invested to follow up on that.
But
And then there's like a bunch of Austrian troops in Italy doing the Macarena, and you're like, this isn't right. I don't like this.
There should be a war.
so no, I was just imagining like it's the Euro version because like they're Italian. Come on, you live in Italy, get over it. And like, so I'm just imagining it's like the European version of that Dave Chappelle Clayton Bixby sketch where he's the blind black guy in the KKK, and they're just all really Italian. Because come on, it's Italy. Like everyone in Italy is like, they're doing Italian
With
stuff.
the fucking paisan.
Yeah,
and you just
they
have this
are.
little
People
group where
in
like,
Italy
no,
are doing
we're
Italian
German,
stuff.
we're German, really. And they just get really offended if you try to say that they're Italian.
I hate when I keep eating all these like fresh tomatoes and bruschetta and pizza and stuff. Why can't I just have like boiled potatoes and sausage like God intended? That's what freedom is. I hate this Italian food.
Yeah, my name is Giuseppe Riefenstahl. I come from Südtirol and I want to unify with Greater Germania. If you call me Italian, I will write to our leader Adolf Hitler. We think we haven't gotten the mail in 90 years, but we're sure that his war against the Jewish Bolsheviks is going well.
We are very far in the Alps. Hey, this is your weekly corner Späti. Introducing you in is Kieran. We've got most of the gang here. Yulia's off spreading coronavirus in the great nation of Croatia, I guess. So today we have Nick.
Hi.
And Rob.
Good evening.
And special guest from Balling Out Super and Pod Dev America, we have Alex Ptak. Say hello, Alex.
Hi, thanks for having me. I've never had coronavirus. Never gonna get it.
That's the fucking spirit right
Yeah,
there.
that's it.
That's that can-do attitude.
The actual vaccine is just doing the secret to coronavirus. If you just demand the universe doesn't give it to you, you don't get it.
Have you, by the way, I know that this has been news in Germany, but I'm wondering if Alex is aware of the in German the word is the Corona-Leugner demos, which is the people who deny that coronavirus exists.
Oh, yeah,
They're now not allowed to demonstrate anymore, which is pretty funny.
That's pretty good. Yeah, there was like 5,000 strong person march in Berlin.
This is the coronavirus.
Wait,
This is
I thought it was
probably obvious to the rest of us, but that is one long word, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Corona-Leugner Proteste, or whatever the fuck the word is.
We need to like that level of just like vocabulary invention is just so powerful and useful.
Can-do attitude, something that the fucking U.S. lacks.
I thought
This is why we're all dying, 1,000 of us a day, because it takes us 3 full words to even address what the problem is.
Oh god, yeah.
Wait, but I thought maybe I haven't kept up with the news. I thought they overturned the ban, so now they can demonstrate again.
Oh, what? Is that new?
Yeah. I'm reading right now.
What did they do to
overturned
get the goodwill back?
the ban on no. The ban on the demonstration against the corona policy plan for Saturday has been lifted by the Berlin Administrative Court.
Oh, yo, what the fuck?
There are, however, strict requirements for keeping the minimum distance. So, watch out.
They can't decide if they think corona is bad or not.
Yeah.
They have to wait till after the protest to hear both sides.
I think you have to understand the terrifying energy of like coronavirus deniers in this country. The first time this protest happened, it was people like meditating with a copy of the German Constitution. That's the kind of people we have. They're like your cool friends, like 60s hippie mom, but they're like really anti-vaxxer and racist.
Yeah.
It takes ignorance to the magical realm.
Yes, exactly. Like evil Marianne Williamson. That's it. That's probably it.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
I don't know. It is dumber, but it is also somehow more respectable than the American anti-corona parades, which are mostly, from what I've seen on the news, just parties. Like people just can't stop touching each other.
Hey, it's fucking 2020 party rock anthem all day, every day.
It's people literally taking the idea just like, I will die and I would like to.
Anyway, all right. So today we are talking about the man, the myth, the legend, the longest running Italian prime minister since Mussolini, Silvio Berlusconi. And
how did we end up on him? Like,
how have we not talked about him yet? Is my question.
Yeah, first off, how we never talked about him too. Why now? Like,
there was no reason other than I just knew that. Okay, so I'm going to be completely behind the curtain. I asked Alex if he wanted to be on the podcast. He was like, not for a while. Then he was like, I would like to be on the podcast now. And then I was like, cool. I need an insane topic.
It's hard to, cross cultural boundaries. And we're like, what can bring us together? I see this 80-year-old Italian man who loves to be very racist and give 17-year-old girls just like an envelope full of jewels. That transcends boundaries.
What's the best way to reach out to our American guests other than Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi?
This is the olive branch that I am offering to Alex Ptak here.
I still can't believe that he's that Berlusconi's a real person. Like, even though, all right,
well, mostly after the surgery, he isn't.
No, hold on. I'm going into this simply knowing the bare minimum about Berlusconi, which is sex scandals, a little bit of corruption here and there, and the fact that he's, he was the leader of a country that I'm legally allowed to vote in.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm done.
So this episode, we're convincing Nick to vote Berlusconi.
I mean, why not?
Well,
Italian politics are insane.
They are.
There's another connection in that, Alex, over on Pod Damn America, you guys did a multi-episode series on John Brown. And many people do call Silvio Berlusconi the John Brown of Europe. And
do they?
That's right. I've heard that.
Yeah.
They both love beautiful women. They're on the record.
John Brown taught me to have swag and you can do anything you set your mind to. And Silvio Berlusconi does the same for many, many Italian men. It's a mindset.
He teaches you to be weird.
Yeah.
A lot of people try to filter. I think American politics is always the dumbest version of any given thing, but the explanation people get here is Silvio Berlusconi is like a pre-Trump Trump. But I don't think they're exactly one-to-one, right? Because
oh, no, of course not. No. Silvio, we were actually talking about this before. Kieran and I were talking about this amongst ourselves, is that Berlusconi's actually pretty quiet on Twitter, but we feel there's a lot of potential there. But it would be him kind of being as open as Trump is about explaining things, but then the Ted Cruz thing of where he accidentally liked, stepmom porn.
Sure.
But Berlusconi would do it all the time and then never take it down.
Never take it down, yeah.
I think that's a cultural difference. I think Berlusconi, I think 84-year-old men in Italy don't use Twitter, but 75-year-old men like Trump in America do. They post on Facebook. Whereas Berlusconi, he's he's chilling at some villa or something. He doesn't need to be on Twitter.
Well, Matteo Salvini is big on the Instagram stories.
Sure, but a different
30
generation.
Years younger than
he is 30 years younger.
Yeah.
But, the Instagram stories are insane because it's this is the guy who's was the foreign minister or interior minister for ages, and he was just I want to kill all the Roma and stop immigrants coming to Italy. Also, here's an Instagram story where I explain how to make good focaccia. It's a terrifying thing, But I really
Salvini also has energy of a dude who would just like be way too open about like the sex shit that he likes on Twitter.
I think that's just Italy.
Yeah, no. But I mean, it's specifically like older Italian dudes.
Yes, yeah, who had
Yeah.
the like gall to look for power, I guess. Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm taking the stance that Berlusconi is quite similar to Trump. We have to get into like, I think where there's a difference is the exact political formation, because Trump was like a reaction against the like Republican establishment, whatever that means. Where Berlusconi was like, he like completely shook off the political side, where he's like, yeah, do all the neoliberal stuff you want. I don't care. I'm just going to be like the slimy billionaire. Yeah. I'm just going to do the politics stuff. Like Trump wishes he could be like Berlusconi. And that's why Berlusconi, I'm proposing, I'm about to send something into the chat that is something like a thesis statement of mine for the episode. It's from, I believe, the first time we've mentioned him on the podcast. He's the Italian rapper Bello Figo.
It's a beautiful name.
He's a mix of, I would say, like a Lil B with a little bit more like the Bunk Gang. He's more direct in his kind of.
Figo literally means beautiful something.
Beautiful child.
Beautiful child.
Yeah. And so he has a song,
Literally beautiful boy.
Beautiful boy.
he has a song here, Swag Berlusconi, which is one of his many good songs. And the whole song, I mean, so he's a black man in Italy, and his whole thing is that he's like, I'm here, and I wish I could have swag like Berlusconi. I want to fuck girls like Berlusconi. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I'm just gonna have a little section here. She has a shaved pussy like a Barbie. I have a hairy cock like Bob Marley. Swag Berlusconi. I am Swag Berlusconi.
That's one of the
Lil B
worst
song.
representations of Bob Marley you hear in a song these days.
It's honestly, he's known to push buttons. He has another song called No Paga Fito, which is We Don't Pay Rent, and it's him and another guy saying the like center left party pays us to vote for them, and we just come to Italy to fuck white girls. This is just his whole thing. But isn't
Berlusconi's like main thing that like it's criminal sex like a lot of the time? Like
oh yeah.
yeah, okay, just checking.
I propose this simply as what Berlusconi represents for me is the post-political swag. When nothing else, we're going to get into some of the political economy of Italy and basically the history, like how it got to this point. But Berlusconi for me represents where it's like kind of similar to Trump in that it's like there's nothing more to do. We can't make any more changes, so we give up and we're just going to be, you know what I mean? It's all a spectacle. And Berlusconi represents that for Italy for me.
Berlusconi is definitely a spectacle. So should we get into some backstory of Berlusconi, like Berlusconi origins here?
Please.
The Marvel.
Always got to hear the origin story.
Yeah. All right. So in the most Italian thing I've ever fucking heard in my life, because I was genuinely surprised by this.
Picture.
That is a
That's
real
not a fucking
picture
real
of him.
picture.
I'm going to
No.
send. I'm sorry, Alex. I'm going to be sending this to you, in on Twitter, so you can also experience this.
Okay.
But yeah, Berlusconi spent his college years in playing upright bass in a band and also being like a crooner on cruises in the Adriatic Sea. So he was literally doing like rap. He's literally doing rap pack shit.
He sounds like a Martin Scorsese character.
Literally, yeah.
1950s.
thing I thought of too.
Oh, but we didn't care. The drinks were flowing and the girls were dancing, and I was crooning with the best of them.
But like the other side of this as well is okay. So like he played upright bass in a band with a future employee of his, Fedele Confinale, who he like Confalanori. Fuck's sake, which he gave.
Every time we
I can't even
mispronounce
see
a
the
word, you have to take a drink.
All right, this is New York advantage. Alex is cheating.
You want me to give a crack at it?
Yeah, you do it.
Okay.
Earn your passport.
Yeah, thank you. Confalonieri.
Okay. What Nick said. But so like
This is gonna come back a lot, isn't it?
oh, definitely. Yeah. Wait until I try to pronounce his first wife's name. So like this is
Hey, his first wife's name was Angie. Hey, yo, whoa.
so like this is all the 60s. He plays a band with his friend who he later gives like a TV company to.
Cool.
Yeah.
Still waiting
It's
for
like,
my
hey,
TV company from you guys.
Yeah, remember when you used to play piano for me? Here's a TV like empire. He then married his like first wife in 1965, Carla Elvira Dal Oglia, and they had two children.
Olio.
Dello,
Yeah.
Leo,
Olio.
They had two children.
Consigliere.
Maron. How many times are we gonna fucking say that in this episode?
Oh, too many times.
Yeah, no.
They had two children, Marina and Pierre Silvio. So, like all three of these people are basically given tidy futures. Like, I believe both of them. Pierre was like in charge of like the football team AC Milan
Yes.
for like millions of years, and then like the other one runs the fucking Operation Gladio media investment company that that Berlusconi owns.
So cool.
It is literally like the Back to the Future bit. If you just go back to the 60s and shake this man's hand, you will come back to the future like owning like a Spanish TV station. It's just that.
So does his wealth come from his success as a Rat Pack crooner? Was he like a hit?
Well, we'll get into where his money comes from. It's definitely not here.
It's mostly media.
Oh no. That's we'll get into it. Don't
Oh,
worry.
okay.
Yeah. But
All
like,
Maron.
he does come from
Maron,
like
strapped in, Silvio Berlusconi.
he does come from like somewhat modest backgrounds. His like mom was a housewife. His dad was like
My mom was a housewife.
She was the most beautiful housewife. Oh my god.
I would come home. And
these are genuinely his views.
I had
I would
haters,
sing to my mother every day. I tell you, so beautiful.
and my mom, she was like, Silvio, stop going on the boats. You should be here with your brothers and sisters.
There are two bits that we can explore with this, which is all Italians are actually just Italian Americans, or they are all citizens of the Mushroom Kingdom. These are the only two directions.
that's the
None of us
first
can.
one. It's
None
the
of us.
first one.
None of us can do actual Italian accents. So this is the only one way or the other that this can go.
I
I
think it's
no. I can do an actual Italian accent. Just the Italian American accent's way more fun.
It is way more fun.
it's a better accent, and it's also more demeaning to Italians, and that's what's important here today.
Italians ain't real. It's only Italian Americans.
Only Italian Americans. It's actually one of those situations where it came from America and they went back and they went back again. It's a whole migration.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. That's the early life. All of these people are like set for life, and then he starts.
I really wish I could have met Silvio Berlusconi and just be caked up now.
Yeah, right.
What a waste of time podcasting.
We could have got that.
Yeah, literally fucking be on like Stazione Racismo numero uno.
Racism channel. Number one in Italy, racism channel, live from Milan. He is also, like, I should say, born and bred, proud Milano.
That I knew. That's one of the only other fucking facts of Berlusconi that I knew.
A city that, like, as far as I can tell, every Italian that's not from Milan hates. I think there's like an old saying in Italian: the best thing about Milan is the road out of it. Which is
savage.
Do
you guys have Milano cookies in Europe? Is this an American exclusive?
I don't think so. I haven't seen any Milano
called
cookies.
something different.
Oh my god, these cookies!
This is like when I find out the premier like Irish bread company, Cuisine de France, is like run out of Galway and not actually from France. That was an earth-shattering moment.
That's like when I have to fucking explain to people that Arizona iced tea is from New York.
Wait, really?
That really.
That one seems like that would be self-explanatory, but what do I know?
Yeah. They're like, when I tell people like I'm from Arizona, like the iced tea. I'm like, no, that iced tea is not from Arizona.
I'm filing a class action lawsuit.
Thank you. I deserve all that money because I've been put through so much harm.
Anyway, keep in mind that he's a proud Milano for this next bit.
Hey, yo, my mother's from Milan. That's not true.
He started his business career in 1960 with the establish of Milano Due, or literally Second Milan, a private, a construction company that made a gated community called Milano
Fuck
Due.
off, an Italian making a construction company? Come on.
Yeah, I know,
Come
right?
on.
I know. It's very on the nose.
Waste management.
But also just call your gated community Milano too. I very much like.
Yeah, well, I like that because it's like, I think throughout history, I'm trying to think of a good example. It's like you go to like another land and then you're like, in this, we should trade here. Here they have like silks that we don't have in our country yet. And he did the same thing, but with like the suburbs. He's like, there's this thing called the suburbs. You don't need to interact with anybody else. We can get rich.
Are you tired of everyone looking over at your house because you don't got a gate?
Sick of people. Oh god, yeah. So anyway, he makes this. The main like feature of it is that it has a bunch of like walkways, so you don't ever have to interact with like traffic ever.
Genius.
Traffic fucking killed my cousin. He's smart.
Yeah. In World War II, my great granddad was killed by a car. So this also served as the exclusive headquarters of Silvio's next business, which was a Milano-based TV station called Tele Milano.
He could work on the names. I feel like there's
Milan.
a lot of room to improve there.
Well, you'll be glad to know that Tele Milano eventually became a nationwide channel just called Channel 5. So there you go.
Canale Cinque.
Pretty much, yes. I can't tell if you're making it up or know how to speak Italian.
No, that would be it.
That is exactly it, yes, yeah.
Not everything's a joke. This is Channel 5.
This is Channel 5. We're very serious here. But, okay, Tele Milano is actually Italy's first private TV station. Milan, after World War II, had this weird situation where the only national TV station allowed had to be run by the government. You could do private regional or city channels, but they also weren't allowed like show news or have anything political on them. That was reserved for the state television broadcaster. And this is a lot of like the backdrop to where Silvio gets his power, or at least part of it anyway.
All right, I'm going to call my shot here. I think he invents the like sexy weather lady who does the dance part of the news.
Yes.
That is so close to being true.
No, that is pretty much 100% true. So I know this from Spain because like his media empire is also in Spain. But at 7:00 every night on his channels, all of them, there will just be the parade of beautiful women in skimpy underwear. That's the whole show. It's in front of a live audience, and it's like a catwalk, but it's not high fashion.
This isn't real. This is Austin Powers.
It is literally like a joke scene from Austin Powers, except you're meant to sit down and watch it and take it very seriously.
Well, that's beautiful. Like in the United States, there used to be like a national culture. Like everyone would watch Walter Cronkite. There's this memory, and in Italy they have that with watching the pretty ladies.
Get the family together, sit down, look at all the beautiful broads.
Catcall the TV. Don't worry, they can't hear you.
Mom, you're missing it. The broads. The broads are on.
Phone in to catcall
It
them.
was so beautiful. My little cousin Giancarlo was standing in front of the TV and insulting women.
Oh god, yeah. Anyway, back to the like actual thing. So this is possibly where Rob might jump in a bit here, but 1978, this is the big one. This is when he founds Fininvest, which I guess means financial investment. I guess that's where he got the name from.
Investimento Milan.
Wait. One really random fact.
Yeah.
Did you know that Bank of America used to be called Bank of Italy?
Oh,
Really?
scandal.
Yeah.
Why though?
Because Bank of America started as a company that would give Italian Americans loans when they couldn't get them in the US of A. And then they became Bank of America. They changed their name.
Beautiful.
Yes, this reminded me of that for some reason.
Fair enough. Okay, so Fininvest, going back from that, Fininvest is a media holding group that he puts his existing Milan-based TV channels into. That later transforms into a collection of national TV stations. We'll get to that later. The issue is that national broadcast channels are illegal in Italy at the time. Only regional and local channels can exist, and the state broadcaster has a legal monopoly, but they persist. It helps that the current Socialist Party president of Italy, his friend is a friend of Silvio's, Bettino Craxi, I think this is his name, and helps pass emergency laws that permit his channels to broadcast nationwide in 1984. After Turin, Rome, and Pescara shut down his channels for, being illegal.
Yeah, it turned out that
Want to shut down the channels of being illegal?
later documents showed that Berlusconi gave Craxi the equivalent of $17 million or something for that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And he also got to be best man at his second wedding.
This just doesn't seem like a good plan. Like, how do you keep an illegal television station running once they find out about it?
How do you keep an illegal national television station running is a thing I don't understand at all.
They literally open every broadcast with, and remember, we don't exist. Wink.
Don't tell anyone we're broadcast throughout Italy.
But yeah, okay, so...
Should I jump in here?
I think we can. Rob,
The key year here is 1978, and I'm going to ask all the listeners if they are aware. If they're not, they should look it up. Of a little thing called Operation Gladio.
You can check that out at operationglad.io, our website. I can't believe that domain was available.
So without getting too bogged down in the details, Operation Gladio is it's an idea, right? It's a vibe.
It's the new Call of Duty game.
Oh yeah, dude. I was thinking about that. How sick it would be, because you saw the video with the Cold War. If it was like Call of Duty Gladio with all of your favorite Propaganda Due members.
It literally 110% is exactly that.
Call of Duty has been missing the scantily clad women.
It is kind of...
Look at this. Look at this parade of scantily clad women. Anyway, we need you to blow up this agricultural bank in Rome. Don't ask any questions.
It is very controversial, but I think it really, progresses the art of video games forward. There's a level called No Pedophile, where you go undercover as the butler of Jeffrey Epstein. And it's it's really kind of shocking, but it's a really powerful scene.
Video games are art.
You press X to hand Bill Gates an adrenochrome aperitif. Anyway, that exists, and in Italy it was. It's kind of a, what's the word, synecdoche or something for it's mostly in Italy. It's something across Europe, but it's very important in Italy for managing the post-war, the contradictions of the post-war democracy. And we get into the strategy of tension and all those things. But one of the key, so you have all these different groups, right? You have NATO, you have the United States, you have the Catholic Church, you have the mafia, you have rich people in Italy, and what is what kind of holds all these people together? They're all kind of on the same page, but what really gets them in the same room, perhaps, is
La Familia.
I don't know, maybe a Masonic lodge called Propaganda Due.
Yes.
We just need
you
somewhere
heard
to
of
meet.
Milano Due.
And
he's so fucking good at naming things.
It's the Seth Rogen approach of from the dudes who brought you Milano Due. It's the Masonic Lodge Due.
And 1978, the same year he founds Fininvest, documents have come out showing that Berlusconi joined Propaganda Due the same year.
And this is
Propaganda 2. This time it's personal.
Yeah, two Propa, two Ganda. This is where, going back to Nick's comments of where the money comes from, Fininvest as a media company got the equivalent of 58 million euro from unknown sources, heavily scrutinized by state attorneys of Italy, being like, where the fuck did this money come from? And it's just shell corporation after shell corporation, and then presumably shell corporation Due comes into the mix, and they all just give up and go home because it's 4:00.
My man Silvio's smart.
So this is where the money comes from, and the reason we call Operation Gladio is because it was the Italians who exposed this, basically.
Right.
In every country it had a different name, but
Operation Gladio Due.
Operation Gladio Due, Operation Gladio Trie.
The data is significant because when we talk about stuff like the strategy of tension, all these questions, it's going on in the late 70s. It's not some faraway thing. It's Berlusconi's if I'm going to make it in this world, I better start, helping arm these like far right groups. Like just got to be in the same room, like shake some hands, drink some wine together, make some deals. Like that was the direction things were going.
So he's like the host for the CIA op people. He just shows up, he gets them in the room, provides some snacks.
Yeah, he's the trip sitter.
Yeah.
Just setting a vibe for your counterinsurgency.
You just rub shoulders with a bunch of like Italian like businessmen and
ex-SS
officers, and you blow their mind by opening a can of sour cream and onion Pringles, which they've just seen now because it's the 70s in Italy.
Maron, you see that? The fucking stack.
I can't stop once that I have popped. I have to murder some communists.
Yeah, I mean, 1978, same year that Aldo Moro is kidnapped and killed.
Woo! Fun times in Italy. All right. So getting back to the personal life thing here, because we're just going to go into it. This is around the time that Berlusconi starts dating actress Veronica Lario, who he started dating after seeing Topless in a theater.
I knew it first. Love at first sight.
Lying.
God, he's so cool.
He's still married to his first wife, but he saw a topless woman at the theater. It is very Trump, but it's always classier because it's like his daughter is just like
No, it's just cooler because you know that Berlusconi like actually fucks.
Yeah. I mean, like after the surgery he got in 2019, he got like a metal hip put in, so I'm just afraid of how powerful he is
fucks
now.
too much.
Yeah.
He has a robot hip.
Yeah, basically. Hip duet. Oh god. Anyway, this is the time he starts dating Veronica Lario, having 3 kids with her, one which is born before divorcing his first wife. He later marries Veronica Lario, and his prime minister friend Crassi is the best man and also godfather of their first child. The 2 kids of his first job get cushy jobs in Fininvest. Similarly, in 1990, Italy passes the Mammy Law, literally the Mammy Law, which clarifies the position of private media in Italy. Nationwide TV stations are now legal and can broadcast news and political messages, but the owner of a TV station can also not own a newspaper. So Silvio's younger brother, Paolo, takes over as owner of Silvio's conservative newspaper, Il Giornalone.
Giornalone.
I can't fucking see that.
Giornale.
Giornale.
Yeah. The
Buongiorno.
newspaper. The hello. Yes, the buongiorno. This is a newspaper that is incredibly favorable towards Berlusconi and his political projects in the future.
Yeah, fucking right it is.
Yeah, because
my brother runs it.
Yeah, the Berlusconi newspaper has a weird Berlusconi slant to it. But if you can read past that, there's a lot of beautiful women in there.
It's literally just like a more perverted version of Rod and Todd Flanders doing the newspaper. Playtime is fun, and then just naked ladies. And now we get into the beginning of his political career.
Here we go.
Rob, I think you might be jumping back in with this.
Yeah, you start and I'll jump in.
Cool. So this is the 90s. Cold War is over.
History's over too, baby.
History is over. Woo, we did it.
History do
History too. In the early 90s, the ruling 5-party coalition, 5 parties in one coalition, lost popularity almost instantly due to the Mane Pulite investigation. It means clean hands. The clean hands investigation.
100% clean hands.
100%. Wash your hands, folks. It was an investigation into political corruption and the dismantling of Tangentopoli, which is literally translated into English as Bribesville or Kickback City, depending on which newspaper you're reading.
Bribesville is Berlusconi's second suburban expansion.
Tangentopoli is like the name of like a Monopoly-like game sold in Italy that you just play to like learn how to be the best politician. Do not pass go. Do not collect a weapons cache left for you by NATO.
Anyway, so Bribesville and Kickback City, as it described, has like basically indicts 5,000 public officials, half the Italian parliament. Numerous industry leaders were exposed to have taken bribes for favorable public works projects, coming to about $5 billion US per year in bribes alone.
Wow.
That's just the bribes. Yeah. There's a reason why Italian politics is kind of considered a joke. And this is it, this case. Many of those indicted killed themselves before they could ever go to court because I guess they realized...
Hey, that's called La Familia.
It's extremely Italian of them.
That's like the darkest...
You do the fucking Italian out of harikiri.
Yeah, no, I love that you bring up La Familia because it just reminds me of the darkest ending, the series finale of Brothers Garcia, where there's like La Familia, and it's just him killing himself for all those public work contracts that he like got kickbacks on. I love the Brothers Garcia.
There's a part of me that respects it because all the American scandals, it comes out in the news that all of our politicians are taking $5 billion bribes, and they're just like, oh, well, I guess I still work here and nothing happens.
Yeah.
Oh, that happens also in Italy. So with all this context,
wait,
here comes...
Wait, I want to jump in really quick. So
Go for it.
the clean hands is something that it's tough to place historically because we know about Operation Gladio, and then once communism falls, like Soviet Union ends in 1991, then what does a country whose the entire connective tissue of the democracy was anti-communism? Like, I mean, in its like kind of underground forms, you know, this kind of parapolitical stuff, and also explicitly. I mean, the ruling party was like the center-right Christian Democrats, but there was the Communist Party was a mass party. It was strong. It was organized.
Every modern party in Italy comes from the Communist Party, including some of the fascist ones.
Yeah.
It's insane. There's like a reason why the emblem of Italy is like super fucking communist. They just got like weird, they got like weird token prizes. They're like, you're not allowed to be really in control, but here's some like a graphic design project for you.
Yeah, and I mean, it was...
Communists love graphic design. That is true.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fucked up system, but it was a system that everyone knew, right? There was a ruling party, the communists were in opposition, there were kind of mysterious bombings happening, but people knew the terms of the game, and then when communism falls, what do you do? And I think the clean hands it's a good way to understand, like, basically the ruling class of Italy has to turn on itself because there's nothing keeping them together. There's a quote from, I'm going to refer a couple times to this Jacobin article about David Broder, a frequent writer for Jacobin, has a new book out about the history of Italy. First, they took Rome, how the populist right conquered Italy, which talks a lot about the early 90s, because this is a crucial point where basically, I mean, Broder's whole thesis is that Italy represents kind of the future for Europe, for a lot of Western democracies, because they have this, they were kept together from anti-communism, from these post-war structures, and then they were one of the first countries to really face a crisis in, okay, what's next? And in 1992, the Clean Hands trials were, what they ended up doing, again, I don't want to, I mean, Broder says it wasn't a conspiracy. He makes that clear. But the trials, what they ended up doing was they ended up destroying these big parties. So the Communist Party was fractured. The other major parties, which are already facing a crisis of
the five-party coalition basically contains every like political strain within, like, you had your Christian Democrats, you had the Liberal Democratic Party, you had like the center-left party at the time, you had like what you might call nowadays like a Green Party and things like that, as well as like a weird kind of neo-fascist party. Like every political ideology that's usually represented in parliamentary democracy was just like wiped out in an evening. Yeah,
so the Clean Hands trials, they're not the I don't know, the tool coming from outside to break the system. They're just a very evocative symptom or example of this crisis that erupts in the early 90s in Italy. I'll read a bit from Broder because I think he says it better than I can. And it's also, we should also be clear that the First Italian Republic ends in, I don't know the exact date, 92, 94. Like, you know how France is on their fifth republic? Like, the republic ends, and then they're like, all right, we're a new country now. Broder writes Literally,
no one else said.
literally, we live in Italy, Due.
We were all like, Rob's making a very good point right now. He's being really smart. But one of us is going to have to say Italia Due, right?
Yeah. Italia Due.
So it says here, the First Republic had been no golden age, and its ignominious downfall was no conspiracy. As the journalist Marco Travaglio summarily put it, the trials which exposed...
Marco Travago. Yeah, I know.
Go Travago.
Which exposed Bribesville took place because there had been a lot of bribes. Yet as Eric Hobsbawm said of the dissolution of the Communist Party of Italy, the effect of breaking up the mass parties was in many ways to, quote, throw out the baby and keep the bathwater, replacing corruption-ridden parties with personalized forces whose internal affairs were even more inscrutable. Far from strengthening Italian democracy, the destruction of the First Republic instead opened the way for a wholesale attack on the institutional and cultural inheritance of post-war Italy, from employment rights to anti-fascism, and even the role of the Constitution itself. So you have all these things. One,
Which I have to vote on again, like next month or whatever.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, Italy has fucking constitutional referendums like every year, and I hate them. You just get a thing in the mail that says all like, "Attenzione, Constituzione referendone numero due."
Right, it has a stamp with Jessica Rabbit on it, so you know it's important.
well, that's how they get people to open it. You know, that's the
like,
important
hey,
stamp.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how horny does this fucking mail make you? 10? Yeah, it's important.
Bills. Well, what is constitutional referendum?
Awooga!
I like this idea of just like attractiveness of woman as the indicator of how important this is. So it's like first notice Bill, it's just like, yeah, she's okay. Second notice, okay, if she had a good personality. Third notice, awooga.
The Italians,
please open this. You owe us money.
There's a real good, long history of Italians. Whenever they see a beautiful woman, their eyes pop out of their skull and
twist around each other.
I've seen this.
Exactly.
And their
the heart
tongues, they
pumps out
roll
the
all the
chest.
way to the ground, and then they roll all the way back up.
Exactly.
That's actually a little known fact. You know the way how like the heart emoji doesn't look like what an actual heart looks like?
Yeah.
That's because that's what Italian hearts look like, and Da Vinci discovered that back in the Renaissance. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And they go
you
out
can see you can see it coming out of their chest when they see a beautiful woman or like the third notice of a bill.
Exactly.
The unimportant bill notice is just like a statue of Mary, and you're like, I know what this is, and I respect it.
My family's Catholic.
That just reminds me of the Mary statues we had at the front of our classrooms that we would just like stick some like nerd's bag behind.
Hey, my mother should never see you disrespect the
Because
Virgin
it was up at
Mary.
the top of the wall and like really far away. So if you could just stick the like rucksack behind it, no one could get it. It would just be there for the whole class.
You'd be fucking beat up in my household for that.
It's Ireland. We're Catholic, but we have no respect for it.
That's like it's just like you're trying to hide away. Just like, I think the Mother of God took your bag.
Loser, nerd.
For someone like for an Italian like Catholic, they would believe that.
Yeah,
They
right.
just want.
All right, we'll get you a new one tomorrow. Bag due.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I guess the last thing I'll just say is that anti-corruption, we saw this in Brazil, right? And I think a lot of the reporting from The Intercept has borne this out, that like the anti-corruption crusade that took down Lula, for example, was an instrument of the right to break apart what existed of social democracy, of left-wing currents in Brazil. And some people say the same of the Clean Hands trial, right? I mean, especially if you're really like Gladio brain pilled, like, and you're like, they're controlling everything,
Like you, yeah.
then it's like,
Rob is just mask off. He thinks this.
I'm trying to be neutral here.
Some people think this. Some people with names rhyming with Bob.
Some people would just point out that it's quite curious that like a team of entrepreneuring prosecutors like broke apart the party system and dismantled like the only organized left-wing party, and then in the 1994 elections, the far-right party suddenly surged to power. Funny how that happens.
Right. I've heard that people who read think that.
We can't trust them. They read things.
I don't know.
They
Never read a book in my life.
They didn't. They didn't need a sticker of Jessica Rabbit to get them to open some written text. I don't trust them.
I'm gonna go to the Italian embassy and be like, "Sorry, I haven't voted in years because you got rid of the Jessica Rabbit policy."
This is not the Italy I know.
Where the sexy lady?
Yeah, that's the real tragedy of the end of the First Republic.
We almost must be at the rise to power here, then, right?
Oh, yes. Enter Berlusconi. This seems like a nice warm hot tub for Berlusconi to just dip right in. Seems like
Oh yeah.
what?
Oh, yeah.
There's no political legitimacy anymore. We need like a new force to kind of organize politics around. Perhaps a media spectacle.
A media spectacle that looks like, old leather draped over a skeleton. Let's go. Yes, it's time for Berlusconi to come in the 1994 election. The scariest thing about my research is that he looks exactly the same way he does now that he did in 1994. That is a terrifying aspect.
That's so strange. Yeah, you were sending me the thing on this. He's 81 years old. He looks like he's frozen in time. What has he been doing to stay looking this good?
There's been a lot of surgeries along with the robot pelvis. He just has plastic skin. He is a real doll at this point. He's just a terrible anti-communist real doll. Anyway, 1994 election. It looks like the communists and their allies and the opposition are going to win because there is no alternative, because they're basically the only parties not included in this 5-party coalition that's dismantled overnight, basically.
Yeah.
I
should say quick context is because I mixed it up again. This is in the Broder article that'll be in the description. Is there were several regional elections throughout 1993 in which the far right parties, so the MSI, which it still exists as this the Mussolini daughter or granddaughter party, right?
MSI became National Alliance,
which is third in the polls now.
Part of Fratelli d'Italia.
Yeah, they became Fratelli d'Italia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Lega Nord, which of course became La Lega, which is number 1 in the polls in Italy. They both blew up in 93. So they were taking, Lega Nord was taking, local elections across the north, and this openly post-fascist, I guess. Exactly. They were winning, and so this is the case in 93, and the communists seem like maybe the only alternative to this.
Yeah.
How much fun would it be if the Soviet Union collapsed and then Italy just voted in communists unanimously?
Well, but the Communist Party at this time was already pretty neoliberalized within itself, in the 90s,
Italy?
weren't they? Yeah. I think they were.
No, Italy's one of those slow burn neoliberal countries because it's like France. We have to treat it with respect, unlike Eastern Europe, which we just ravage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but to answer Alex's question, it would be all those cool Soviet posters of but they'd just be pretty ladies.
All right. Yeah, the Sino-Russian friendship posters.
Yeah.
Exactly.
New
But it's a
sexy
woman
spin.
with big cans.
It's just 2 Jessica Rabbits.
Both
Two
of our
Jessica
countries
Rabbits.
are mashing their cans together. My God, what a beautiful future.
Italy and also Italy.
Oh my God, they're sisters.
Oh no, it's the first, but you're my stepsister instance in history. Anyway. So yeah. Conveniently at this point, in the not counting,
Comrades just change into broad.
yeah, everyone just calls each other broad instead of comrade and Dawson. It's just broad. Greeting broad. I really this is just very funny to me. Just really misogynistic communism.
I mean, if anyone were to be the best at it, it would be the Italian.
No, of course. Yeah. Catcalling, but equally distributed.
20 years into power, there's a referendum where they have to get people to stop calling each other like men and women and go with the gender-neutral broads.
Anyway. Conveniently at this time, and ignoring the counterfactual, super sexy, misogynistic communist Italy.
Hey.
Ayo. We enter the real world of Silvio Berlusconi enters the race with a new party called Forza Italia, which I believe means Go Italy.
All right.
It's your birthday.
Go Italy, it's your birthday.
Forza means like force, though, too.
Yeah. Apparently the translation is not Italian force, which would be
but it
far
means,
more
like-
terrifying.
The literal translation is non-consensual Italy.
Statutory Italy. And on a purely, he runs on a purely anti-communist platform. He at the time tells former editor of his newspaper that he's purely running to gain prosecutorial immunity granted to some Italian politicians. This will come back later as a thing.
Yeah.
He uses a barrage of advertising campaigns on his private network of stations as his primary form of advertising. As soon as he enters the race, the Mani Puliti, the Clean Hands investigators, were reportedly close to issuing warrants for his arrest along with many of his associates. He then spends the entirety of his his political career calling them communists, naturally enough.
Right, what are they
He then
cleaning their hands for? Pretty suspicious if you think about it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I've only ever seen communists wash their hands.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah,
My father never washed his hands.
we should point out that the clean hands stuff was kind of because Berlusconi obviously is extremely corrupt, and like he did try to limit the investigation into him, and there was kind of this kind of back and forth power struggle. So it wasn't completely out in the open that he was like, oh well, of course we're not going to investigate Berlusconi. There had to be kind of like a tug back and forth. But I mean, he would soon be prime minister, so I guess we can decide who won that battle.
This sounds like
Yes.
the first politically adept move he's ever done.
Okay, so this might be like where some of the differences between, because a lot of people have compared Berlusconi to Trump. This might be one of the differences. He does seem quite politically like competent, like in terms of getting elected.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I can tell you right
Yeah.
now, like Trump, if he finds out there's a committee investigating him, is finding out all their names. They're getting nicknames. He's looking up what their wives look like. He's talking about it on the news. There's no subtlety if they're...
Folks that don't even look like Jessica Rabbit.
Look at your stamp. Nothing like that.
This beautiful stamp.
What is the relationship between though, like these two boys themselves though? Like,
Trump and Berlusconi.
yeah, have they palled?
Good question.
I actually don't know.
There are a lot
mean,
of good photos of like Berlusconi just like cheesing with like George Bush, Joe Biden. Like they're just like he clearly told them like an extremely like dirty joke in a very Italian accent, and then Joe Biden, he's fucking loving it. Like they're just
We'll
like
go into later
all
what
grins.
like we'll go into later about like what he said about previous presidents and what Berlusconi thinks is a good joke. Content warning: anti-Semitism. But until then, he does win the 1994 election and is prime minister for a whole 6 months before the coalition collapses. So basically, how he ran this election in Italy, you can do this thing where you have pre-made coalitions because there's so many parties. You can just be like, look, me, that party over there, that party there. If you vote for all of us, which we're on the one ticket, we'll work together. So do you want he works with La Lega Nord, which is this party that believes that like Northern Italy is superior and all people from Southern Italy are like too Arabic to be like considered Europe, so they should just be done away with. And then he also worked with MSI, which at this point had become National Alliance, which is the neo-fascist party that like most of the Mussolini grandchildren belong to now. The problem is that he did a coalition with these two parties that didn't like each other. So when he actually won, they very quickly started tearing each other apart. And then 6 months later, the whole thing falls apart. He's caretaker prime minister for like 1 month. Some bureaucrat is put in, and then eventually he loses election to the center-left kind of Blairite neoliberal party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it
But don't
work?
worry,
Is
he
it
comes
like
back.
England where the elections just happen whenever you call for them?
First of all, it used to be fucking Mad Max rules. They have actually clarified it more recently, but when things like collapse, which is quite common in Italian politics, they have to call an emergency election.
Okay.
That's kind of like, yeah. It's similar to England, except England is maybe a bit more in control of itself, whereas Italy is just like, hey, your wife doesn't look like the stamps. How dare you? We're ruining this government now, and now there's an election in 4 months.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
They don't have a ceremony where a man in a tall beaver skin hat slowly brings a key over to the queen, and then that signals the beginning of a race.
I mean, kind of, but it's a president.
Yeah, and the man in the beaver hat is a fucking sexy broad.
And it's broadcast every night at 7 o'clock on Canale Cinque.
Cinque.
Sorry.
God damn it,
soft.
Kieran.
I'm
Get better at
sorry.
your
Everyone at
Spanish
home,
is
take a
ruined
drink.
me. Yeah, Kieran has fucked up a language he doesn't speak. All right.
I'll just go really quickly because I also want to put this in the description. Another Jacobin article, just talking about comparing Trump to Berlusconi, but basically talking about how Berlusconi is really a continuation. He's built off of the neoliberal moment because in 1995, 96, and then the center left governments, basically from then until 2001, when Berlusconi comes back. They passed labor reforms, this kind of welfare reform. They erode workers' rights. They passed public education reform, this kind of corporate style management of public schools. They reform higher education. They privatize public companies. They participate in the NATO bombing of Serbia. I'm reading from the Jackman article here. And they passed an immigration law, issuing the first detention centers for undocumented immigrants. And I'll quote, I'll read directly. The outcome of these policies was the real beginning of Berlusconi's era, with his victory in the elections of 2001, which secured him a crashing majority both in the Senate and in the Chamber of Deputies. While after 2001, center-left voters took to the streets for anti-Berlusconi demonstrations in defense of democracy and against corruption, center-left MPs continued to cooperate with Berlusconi whenever possible and to protect him from judiciary prosecution. In the same way, they refused to pass a law against Berlusconi's monopoly on information during the Prodi and De Alema governments.
Yes. So I think this kind of leads to the numerous scandals. So as you said, he does win the 2001 election. Here's a great 2001 quote, actually, while we're here. In September 2001, 2 weeks after the terrorist attacks in the United States, he caused outrage in the Islamic world when he said the West should be confident of the superiority of our civilization. So there you go. There's a good Berlusconi quote.
Yeah.
After all that goodwill he built in the Mediterranean, he fucks it up real quick. Anyway.
That's like the least controversial quote he has ever put out.
Oh, of course. We're building up, folks. We're ramping up. This is
okay, wait. One thing I have to introduce, because it was like on site from the beginning, is the Berlusconi and The Economist beef, which I love. This is honestly, I could do an entire episode on this.
E-communist. Yeah.
This entire beef is that meme with like the nerd crying, who's like, "No, you can't do neoliberalism that way," and Berlusconi is like, "Hey, pretty women, it's neoliberalism. Come on." Because like The Economist is just fucking pissed that this kind of this all the Trump stuff, right?
This
vulgar
Italian guy with
this slimy Italian is saying all this horrible stuff, and he's ruining Italy.
Bring neoliberalism with some broads.
So this is just an ongoing battle between the economists. Like Berlusconi, like threatens to I don't even know what he does. He takes a publication to court. The Economist keeps publishing letters against him. It's just back and forth that, to me, is just like represents the 2000s, like a showdown between Berlusconi and The Economist. Take sides, everybody.
Fall Out Boy plays. Thanks for the memories. It's all very 2000s. All right. So we'll I guess. Oh God, we'll get to that. I guess So yeah, he's now in power in 2001, and as we alluded to, this is where the numerous scandals kind of come into play. So, as you said, there is like a kind of issue with his like control over the media. There are like 7 privately owned channels. No, sorry, there are 5 privately owned channels in Italy, nationwide channels. He owns 3 of them.
It's called diversifying your assets.
Well, diversifying his assets. He puts like one of his various children in charge of one of them or whatever. But like, yeah, he basically owns all of them. Or Fininvest owns a lot of them. They sue like satirical shows or any newspaper that brings up the fact that maybe Berlusconi has too much media control. Italy is the only European country or like only EU member country that has like ranking as not entirely press free in like all those international rankings. It's like them and Turkey. Berlusconi loves Erdogan like so much as well. Like the reason Erdogan got very close to joining the EU is entirely thanks to Berlusconi.
Real recognizes real.
Real recognizes real. Yeah, absolutely. So while he's in government, this is when all the fucking scandals happen. We'll get to the Bunga-Bunga one later. Another one everyone wants to think about, but like there's various things like leaking leaking tapes to try and destroy his opposition in his like brother's newspaper, newspaper. There is the Prodi government is actually a great one because, as you said, the left party kind of like had this opportunity to like try and dismantle his media monopoly and then didn't. Turns out in 2006, when this finally got to court, he basically bribed a whole bunch of members of the Prodi government to like vote with him or leave the Prodi government and join his, like, at that point, opposition and put him in power, including like the Olive Branch Party, which is the worst name for an Italian political party I could ever think of, but sure.
Silvio Branchiti.
Wait, what is the name of the party?
The Olive Branch Party. The Olive Tree Party. I apologize.
Oh,
That's even worse than Branch.
What is it, like Paolo something?
I'm not getting the Italian for it here. I can open it for you if you want. There you go.
No, I don't give a shit. It's fine.
Okay. Luvio.
Wrong.
All right. The other thing is that he now like really goes after the clean hands investigators. So Antonio Di Pietro is like one of the lead people in the like clean hands investigation. He starts trying to form his own political party called what was it called? Like Italy for Truth or something like that. It's very
He's a QAnon guy.
It's actually very Elizabeth Warren. If we're going to put it into something, it's very like we can kind of like use the rules to stop Italy from being an insane country.
They do have
Use
QAnon
Italian
in Italy,
law.
by the way. It's called Pizzagate.
Oh,
Hey, yo.
God damn it.
Rob making an Italian food joke over here.
So this
Spaghetti.
Antonio
gate.
this Antonio guy tries to run against him. And I guess this is maybe the Trump comparison. This is very like you were born in Kenya thing. Let's see the birth certificate, because the entire thing with Antonio is like, oh, you're a lawyer. Show us your law degree. Show us your law degree. And then uses all his like TV channels to say, this guy isn't really a lawyer.
That's such an easily disprovable claim, though. That's wild.
Oh, yeah. He got sued for so much. I think the Italian court was like, you have to pay so much money to this guy because you just like ruined him with all your like with your media empire. But then we get into a classic Berlusconi technique, which is appeal the decision and take advantage of Italy's very slow bureaucracy. For anyone who doesn't know, Berlusconi was meant to serve 4 years in prison like 10 years ago, but he keeps appealing it, so he just gets off scot-free until eventually, I'm assuming, he dies.
Foiled again.
81. He's 81, and most of his body is plastic, and what I'm assuming is toxic
He's never
metals.
gonna die.
See, you have it wrong. He's going to live forever now.
Yeah.
That's a good point, yes. I'm sorry, yes, I forgot. He is a real doll. He will outlive us all.
You can't send me to prison. They'll treat me like a real doll.
No, but even like this is the thing. The other thing, he's appealing all of this, but at this point, because he's so old and because he's a politician, All he has to do now
This is
is
a robot hip that then probably can, like, if he presses the button, just like gyrate.
he's the bionic man. Like he does the jump, and it's just like. But no, because he's so old, because he's a politician. The courts have ruled you only have to do either 1 year of house arrest in one of your many mansions, or 2, some community service. So what he's been doing now as a tactic to delay this is when his 1 year of house arrest is approaching, he's like, actually, I'd like to change it to community service, knowing that will delay the process by 2 years. And then I'm assuming in 2 years' time, he's going to be like, actually, no, I'm going to go with house arrest and just do it again forever.
Yeah, we keep bumping into the reality that this guy is the coolest dude of all time. And it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, I no joke. Maybe it's because of my, Southern European slothness.
You're
I fucking love him. Berlusconi is so the Trump Berlusconi comparison I can't even do because Trump isn't cool.
Trump is not cool, and he's not fun. And that's the reason he doesn't have any racist jokes.
Cool and fun.
He doesn't have racist jokes because he can't process humor. He's a dead person.
Berlusconi does the classic old I don't know, Italian European thing where he's just like, hey, what are you gonna do? Come on, I just love women too much. That's his always his fallback. I'm a little rascal.
Silvio Berlusconi legitimately reminds me of my uncle, from Italy, who's just continuously getting in trouble with his wife, my aunt, for cheating on her, for just being a small business owner who just always
the ultimate small business owner. I have a media empire and I'm the longest running prime minister.
He owns a restaurant, but I don't ever know if it's actually legitimate half the time.
All this food is just painted on.
No, he's a really good singer.
Oh yeah,
that as well.
A bit of a crooner.
Just that fucking beautiful voice. No, but he's the racist jokes, obviously.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, Silvio Berlusconi may be my uncle. I would not tell. He's old as shit.
Yeah.
And is not aging.
Right.
You're denying your Greek heritage and going to your maiden name of Nicholas Berlusconi.
This is why you got to look into podcasters because they're all related to Silvio Berlusconi. It's unconscious.
It's like a Genghis Khan situation. All podcasters, 1 in 10 of every podcaster is the offspring of Berlusconi. Speaking of Berlusconi fucking. On December 2012, this is when this happened. In 2009, it was announced that Lario, the woman he fell in love with by seeing topless at a play, had filed for divorce. In 2012, it was settled that Berlusconi was ordered to pay his ex-wife, Veronica Lario, $48 million a year as a part of the divorce settlement.
Yeah, if it's not clear throughout all this, he's like a multi-billionaire. He's throughout this, he's he's probably the top 200 richest people in the world. Throughout this whole story, you can't forget about that.
His current net worth is $5.6 billion, which is nowhere near Megarica territory for Italy. You're not the chocolate king of Nutella or the guy who owns all glasses or whatever. But those are the actual richest people in Italy. But he got to keep the $100 million house out of the divorce settlement, so that's nice. Also, because I don't know when we're going to mention this, but this was just the thing that made me actually burst out laughing when I read this. So let me just read this sentence. In April 2017, Berlusconi appeared in a video promoting a vegetarian Easter campaign. Berlusconi was shown cuddling lambs he had adopted to save from the slaughtering of the traditional Easter Sunday feast in Italy. He has neither confirmed nor denied whether he himself is a vegetarian, however. What is this?
Sure, why not?
I like being. It's like when your friend becomes vegetarian or vegan for a girl.
Yeah.
There's some actress starlet who's convinced him of this.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a guy who's recently divorced, trying to get used to Italy in the 21st century. Yeah.
One of the women on.
Oh, sorry, you go.
But I was just he like one of the women on the who hold the briefcases on like Deal or No Deal posted about being a vegan, and he was like, "Oh, marron."
This is extremely powerful, like post-divorce, like middle-aged man vibes of just like what a girl's into now, lambs. I can make that happen.
But the thing is that like he doesn't have to do it. Like why is my man, stooping that low?
It's like divorce guy energy, I'm assuming, is like having the voice from Venom in your head. Like you sign up to Tinder and it's just like, the age limit that we've set here is very low. Keep it. It's fine. You can date an 18-year-old. It's okay.
You just gotta cuddle with a lamb. Run your hand through its wool and tell it a joke about Slavs.
No, he's Italian. It's all jokes about Albanians. We used to own them,
They don't shower.
They're Muslim.
Being racist to a lamb, no matter who you are, that's funny. I don't know.
But why is my man doing that though? Like he's the one of the rich people in Italy. He doesn't need to,
Well,
Silvio, if you're listening, you don't got to impress women that way.
Well, it's interesting you say this, Nick, because I think this leads us to the big scandal, the one that everyone knows him from, because it doesn't matter how much money he has. The last time he tried to pay for sex, he got into a lot of fucking trouble. So let's go into fucking what it's kind of more respectfully known as Rubygate. We can talk it as Bunga-Bunga Gate, I guess, because that's what the rest of the world knows it as. So
let's call it what it is. Bunga-Bunga Gate.
Which, as far as I understand, is just the Italian term for when Silvio Berlusconi does things now.
Hey, yo.
So, in February 2011, he was charged with sex with a nightclub dancer, Moroccan woman Karima El Maroug. Probably not pronouncing any of that right.
Karima El Maron.
Finish your drink.
That for anyone playing at home, that's a down your drink bingo card in the drinking game that is listening to this podcast. But why it's called Rubygate is, as a nightclub dancer, her stage name was Ruby.
I could have told you that from across, like a mile away.
Yeah, right. Ruby Rubakuar. Oh God, damn it, Nick, read this word for me, please.
Ruby Rubakowski. She's Jewish.
Oh God, Rubakwari.
It's Rubakowski.
It's not Rubakowski. Stop saying it. They'll believe you. Anyway, the issue with all of this was that she was 1 year under the age of consent.
Italian age of consent to 14.
No, that's Japan. The Italian age consent of 18, a perfectly normal age of consent. So, the issue with all of this, getting back to it, is my man just kept digging a hole for himself in this situation, because not only was he involved with this underage dancer, he tried his best to cover it up. He gave her originally like a bribe of like $10,000 to not tell anyone after they had sex. He then had to bribe anchors from his own news station, like I think somewhere that came to about like 200 million in total, to not report this. And then he apparently also promised Ruby $5 million and told her if that she told anyone, he would get mad. So
this sounds like the behavior of a man who knows you're 17.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that, Alex, because the courts disagree. The perfectly perfectly legitimate Italian not bribed courts. So the Rubygate scandal, as far as I understand, kind of resulted in being overturned. In June 2013, he was found guilty of paying her for sex and abuse of power. The case was eventually overturned in 2014. This is due to the fact that various witnesses and people involved, victims, wouldn't testify for reasons. Who could know?
They didn't want to make him mad.
They didn't
He's their
want
best
to make-
friend.
He's Italy's dad. How could you make Italy's dad mad? So it turns out
It's like that scene of Goodfellas where he goes in front of the court for the first time. And
How is
then
this a first Goodfellas reference?
I don't know how it isn't, but yeah, or how it is. And he like goes to court for the first time. Like the old, like you just have to keep your mouth shut. And then he does that, and then he gets out, and then they all start cheering.
Yeah.
him on. You know, yeah. It's exactly that.
Yeah. So it turns out in 2011, he's now being brought back to court related to Rubygate for corruption charges due to bribing like basically everyone on the jury with, I believe, $2,500 paid per month for each of the 18 girls who were like colleagues of Ruby's, as well as, let me see, 800,000 in gifts to the jury.
How much
Yeah.
money is he making off of these gated communities?
I think, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's mostly the 7:00 show where they parade the women around. There's a call-in function where you can catcall, but only if you pay like an extortionate call-in fee.
Hey, first time, long time. I'd like to say awooga. Like, keep doing what you're doing.
Oh god. Yeah. So
You
that's
can't see me, but my tongue is rolling on the ground as we speak.
my bow tie is doing the spinning dicky.
There's just something very funny about like a just like music video which has an audio track of just people calling in being like, wow, beautiful girls. Great girls.
I really like the idea of like the Cold War ends in 2017 and all of this is a Twitch channel. So it's just the emojis of like a wolf cartoon dropping his tongue and his eyes falling out. And the guy who sent that spent like $5 to do so.
Yeah, Berlusconi's would be in so many Instagram comments, DMs.
Oh, he
He would.
yeah, if he was poor, he'd be very thirsty on Instagram.
No, Berlusconi's. You know what? Berlusconi respects the women, though. He'd subscribe to their OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I mean, we don't know that he doesn't. I feel like that's how OnlyFans operates. Is probably just through.
Silvio Berlusconi.
Yeah, a lot of tech companies work on like catching those whales, those users that pay a lot of money for one thing, and this is Berlusconi with OnlyFans.
He's like a whale of sex crime.
Yeah.
Oh man, Moby Dick is a different story now.
This is the problem The Economist has with him, is he operates in a way that breaks all of their ideals single-handedly.
Not one man can sustain an entire tech company. Just comes along and pays for everyone's OnlyFans.
Yeah.
So is he going to jail for this or what?
Effectively, no.
I thought they had him this time.
Wait, I have to add, this is from the Wikipedia. I have to point this out. So this is in 2011. So he was standing on trial for charges, multiple charges. Paying for sex with a minor in Italy is punished with a range from 6 months to 3 years. Malfeasance in office is much more severely punished, 4 years to 12 years imprisonment. So paying for sex with a minor was like among the lesser charges he was sent with. They're like,
That's just
all right,
Sunday in Italy.
we can understand the paying for sex with a 17-year-old, giving her several $100,000 in furs.
The entire Italian High Court being like, yeah, but like, who wouldn't? Come on.
But the malfeasance in office, Mr. Berlusconi, I'm sorry, we can't.
It's nothing like disrespecting a position.
Yeah, they do all the lib Trump stuff like, this is not okay, this is not normal.
This is not us. You're fucking soiling the position of Prime Minister of Italy, a thing that I cannot name a single other Prime Minister of this country.
It's currently like a fucking weird bureaucrat.
Yeah, they don't even have. Yeah, they don't have. They have like an independent prime minister. Don't they?
They do.
Wait. So you're telling me like a party like the 5-Star Movement like rose to power that's not really a party and kind of doesn't really stand for anything. It's just kind of it's a vibe. I wonder why that happened in Italy of all places. What historical context could that have come out of?
We have to wait for the new Call of Duty game to come out, Rob. God, come on.
Can I do a speed run of some of his comments? Some of his good quotes.
Oh, go for it.
All right. Addressing traders at the New York Stock Exchange in September 2003, Berlusconi listed a series of reasons to invest in Italy, the first of which was that, quote, "We have the most beautiful secretaries in the world."
All right.
We put them on our
Take my money.
On March 26th, 2009, he said, quote, "I'm paler than Mr. Obama because it's been so long since I went sunbathing. He's more handsome, younger, and taller."
Yeah, can we? Yeah,
That's
I
not
have
even.
a similar.
That's not anything. It's not a joke. It's not a riddle.
He's like, I could be blacker than Obama if I
But like, yeah,
sunbathed.
can we talk about that? Can we talk about that? Because I also have in 2008, shortly after the election of Barack Obama as U.S. president, Berlusconi said he's young, he's handsome, and he is tanned.
This is his go-to joke. I got another one here. Okay,
Berlusconi wants to be fucking cucked by Obama, I think.
Guys, I have another one. So in 2009, there was an earthquake, the L'Aquila earthquake in central Italy, at a tent camp on the outskirts of L'Aquila, housing more than 30,000 people who lost their homes during the earthquake. He said to an African priest, "You have a nice tan." He's got one
angle? What does it mean?
I don't think he knows what black people are. I think that's just what it's coming down to. He's just like, if I did that for long enough, yeah.
It's one of the oldest conspiracy theories that anyone from Africa is just a very tan Italian person.
Oh, can I actually do some contemporary Italian news regarding this?
Please.
Because there is contemporary Italian news.
Wait, I just have one more Berlusconi to send us in.
No. We can come back. I'm sorry. Luigi Di Maio, the current foreign minister of Italy, just got back from holiday. He's a good Southern Italian, so he tans real well. And because people are so impressed with his tan, he started photoshopping his face onto famous black people's photos, including a picture of Michael Jordan dunking for the Chicago Bulls with his face instead, because everyone's like, "You're black now."
He's like, I can say it.
Back to Berlusconi quotes.
Yeah,
Italians just think this, I guess.
There's a lot of these.
believe it. Yeah.
I mean, he talked about how Mussolini was cool, except for the fact that he agreed with the Germans to kill the Jews. He said that on Holocaust Remembrance Day. He's like, otherwise Mussolini would have been okay if he didn't send all the Jews to die.
It is Holocaust Remembrance Day, so I do have to come against this one thing, but overall.
But not on Holocaust Remembrance Day in 2010. He offended the Jewish community in turn when he told a joke about a Jewish family hiding another Jew for a hefty rent without telling them World War II was over.
It is the same joke he told that sheep in the PETA commercial.
In the vegetarian Easter PETA commercial.
He tells these jokes at every Bunga-Bunga party. Wait,
God damn it.
I got another good one here. So this is great because it's burying the lead. So Berlusconi suggested raising the amount of Italian military that patrol Italian cities from 3,000 to 30,000, so a 10 times increase. Like in Brussels, they have fucking army dudes with machine guns and stuff.
Yeah.
So a female journalist asked him if this tenfold increase in patrolling soldiers would be enough to secure Italian women from being raped. Berlusconi said, quote, "We could not field a big enough force to avoid this risk of rape. We would need as many soldiers as beautiful women, and I don't think that would be possible because our women are so beautiful."
The best part of these are the ones that he's not saying to be controversial, and it's just a belief he has.
I also love that just at the end of that comment, he just thought to himself, nailed it.
The next sentence is
I
Berlusconi.
said Italy's hot.
Feminist hero, me, Silvio Berlusconi.
Berlusconi said he merely wanted to compliment Italian women.
Hell yeah, he did.
That's all I've ever wanted to do. I didn't want to be in construction. I didn't want to be in media.
I just want to catcall women all day long.
I want to live like common people.
Yeah, there was a woman president of Finland, and so Berlusconi says, I have to, quote, dust off my Playboy charms in order to, when I meet with her.
Also, they could get the EU Safety Commission on food.
It was for something that's the best like comparison of like his mind palace like of his Playboy adventures, and it's like, here's what I gotta do. I gotta get them to like the EU should stop eating smoked reindeer. They should start eating more Italian
Cool,
food.
baby.
Parma ham, let's go.
Oh,
Yeah.
looks like I nailed the EU Security Food Commission. Photoshop my head onto Michael Jordan today.
Oh,
It's the most offensive person of all time. He's the king.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so many of these.
He got hit in the face with a like a marble statue of the Milan Cathedral, which I think is funny because that's just like that. You just see like hundreds of those in like the glass window of the tourist shop, and someone just grabbed one and threw it at him. That's Italian praxis.
He was hospitalized for that.
It is a statue.
He's so old.
He got hit. Let me guess. He got fucking bopped in the head and just started seeing like just sexy women just spin around his head.
Unfortunately, Berlusconi does work in the same way of like Dragon Ball Z rules, where you hurt him and he comes back even stronger with new metallic body parts.
Yes. He presses a button now and he can just harass young starlings.
Oh god, the most unfortunate thing about this is that Silvio Berlusconi fucks so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not the most unfortunate, but at least for me, the personally most unfortunate thing is that through all this just being a complete fucking scumbag.
Yeah, this is it. This is when you have all the money and all the power and have found a successful way to play the stagnation of Italy's like bureaucracy to your advantage, so that you never have to pay for any of your crimes, then why would you stop committing crimes? Why would you not just get like millions of surgeries to make you more, crime efficient and then do more crimes?
What if RoboCop was about messaging underage girls?
That's basically it, because it's like the other side of this as well is just like, glancing through the Wikipedia page and you see all the photos, him shaking hands. Why is this female starlet from 2009 pictured? She's clearly like 20 something and it's 2009 and she's at the Venice Film Festival. Why is she in Venice? You're not safe in this country. Go, leave.
But okay, I got an example of
Man, don't miss
speaking of his connections. During his trial, this Rubygate trial, George Clooney was put on the list of defense witnesses. George Clooney, well known to spend a lot of his vacation time in Italy. Clooney said he only met Berlusconi once to solicit aid for Darfur. But I'm getting some strong Steven Pinker, Epstein vibes here.
Mr. Berlusconi, all these tan people are at risk. We have to do something. And then Silvio's just like, they're very tan, aren't they? And he's like, yes, please.
Please send us money, please.
But that is kind of perfect, right? Because Epstein would get all the I'm going to get the smartest scientists like Steven Pinker. And then Silvio Berlusconi's like, I watch Ocean's 11. I want George Clooney, the only other man in the world who can charm women like me.
I need them on my side.
I mean, okay, I think the only...
Again, I don't get how he's bad.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of this, it's just... yeah.
He's only bad in terms of everything he does. His spirit is very beautiful.
If he didn't have $8 million, he didn't have any power, and he couldn't actually hurt or threaten anyone, then it would be kind of funny.
Yeah, if he was like, not real. If he was a cartoon character you saw and not a real guy.
If he was an impression, a bit perhaps we made up.
Right. Like if,
He is, isn't he? He isn't real.
Yeah. This is the continuation of the like suit Tiroler that
No,
that
exactly.
Rob
This
was
is
talking
like,
at the beginning of the
This is
podcast.
just like literally like we searched in our mind palace. We thought of the most racist stereotype of Italy.
We've
and we
condensed
made it
European politics into one giant leather electronic hip man.
exactly. Yeah, like I. This is just a bit that we've been doing, right? Like
Yeah,
Silvio
this
Berlusconi
isn't
isn't
real.
real. He can't hurt you.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to tell you guys this new bit you've come up with. This is just Johnny Bravo. I feel like you need a new idea. It's not gonna work.
It is just Johnny Bravo running the nation of Italy. Okay, so I have to. The last little thing I have to say about like weird Berlusconi stuff is his foreign policy. So like Berlusconiism is like a thing. It's like a word in Italian politics for like his kind of insane politics because like he kind of like neoliberalized a lot of Italy, but simultaneously he kept like a lot of like safety security net programs in place. But he also had like this very strange foreign policy of like being incredibly Atlanticist because he's anti-communist. He like sides with America quite a lot. Very pro-Israel and stuff like that, but also considered the most Arab-friendly like leader of Italy because he wanted to construct this like Mediterranean sphere of influence,
Right.
where like Italy would be a big player in it, obviously, so would France and Spain, but also that includes like the East Levant and like North Africa and stuff like that. He loved Gaddafi.
Right.
Actually, he tried to get Ruby out of prison, out of being like arrested when she was arrested for theft because he was afraid the police might know about it by saying that she was actually the daughter of like the president of Egypt at the time, because that's how close he was to the Arab world. He was just like, oh yeah, police, that's the daughter of the president of Egypt. Let her go. It's a diplomatic incident.
Yeah.
They're like, no, this is an underage girl you slept with. And we're pretty certain this is not Murek's daughter.
I mean,
This
go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, I have a hard time imagining this guy actually doing anything political, despite the fact that he is the president. Like, there's just this clear picture of him in front of the UN Security Council being like, please, there are many beautiful Arab women. You don't understand.
Please stop bombing them. They're so beautiful.
Oh, my God, the way they wear a hat.
There is kind of a long tradition in Italian politics of like a kind of Arab alliance or Mediterranean alliance kind of thing, and I think
Yeah, 'cause it's the Rome thing.
Yeah.
When we were in charge of the world, and that's
Yeah,
how we
yeah,
typically
yeah.
control the entire Mediterranean.
But it is funny again with the Trump stuff, like because I don't think he read the fucking Green Book. I think he likes Gaddafi like Trump likes Putin or like Kim Jong Un. They're like, yeah, I like this guy. Hey, come on, we can party.
He's very nice to me.
So this kind of leads me to also the other aspect of this is while being very Atlanticist, he also did these things that were contradicted, like the pro-Arab thing, like working with Arabic nations, while also being very pro-Israel was like this weird contradictory position he had, where like he would work with Lebanon while like Israeli special forces were like murdering all their politicians, and that was this weird contradiction. Similarly, he was a huge fan of the United States while being like quite like.
Supporting Al Qaeda, I know it's a hard.
We've all been there. Like 2001, he made the comment being like 9/11, good, yeah, me, Berlusconi. But like, he was also like friendly with Putin to the extent that, and I have to share this on Twitter again with you, with you, Alex, so you can see this. Putin, to symbolize their friendship, gifted Berlusconi bed sheets with him and Berlusconi on it, shaking hands.
That's kind of cool.
Okay.
That Berlusconi has in one of his guest villas, which is where he had one of many of the numerous Bunga-Bunga parties.
Oh,
So
no,
it's
that's
also-
not how you should do it. You can't make sheets look like that. You need a pattern. You can't just do one big picture. That looks like shit.
Extremely low res photo of Putin.
It's classy.
You're
This man has
clipping
fucked
through your
more
top
women.
sheet.
This man has fucked more women than you have seen on this bed sheet. With his robotic hip.
Ladies, if you go home with him and he doesn't have a giant blown up picture of him shaking Vladimir Putin's hand,
I'm sorry, Rob. I'll also share the picture with you if you haven't seen this
Please.
already. because it is genuinely insane that this is a thing. And he just like tweets about it regularly whenever like stuff happens with Russia.
Hey, mamma mia, look at how good my fucking sheets look. I'm sleeping good tonight.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
So cool.
So that's just his foreign policy.
Yeah.
I felt the need to like mention that.
Yeah, and I mean, just to catch us up to present day, so what, he gets kicked out, it's 2013. And
Yeah.
after that point, he becomes much more, because again, the contradiction through all of this is that he's so Trump-like, but that he was from an earlier time where you're just openly neoliberal. Now he's kind of he's kind of getting on the Eurosceptic stuff, talking about how bad Angela Merkel is, and this kind of new wave, just to kind of follow the vibe. And 2019, he's back.
Yeah.
He is an elected member of the European Parliament.
Woo! So in
Return
the
of
whole
the
like
King.
Ruby, in the whole Rubygate thing, he has like taken the case to the European High Court, which is the highest court possible he can take this to, because basically all of Italy has sided against him. But yes, in the context of this, is there's been a huge rise of the far right in Italy. Italian politics is dire, with the like Mussolini party is now the third largest party by popular support if polling aggregates are to be believed. So that's great, but like his party Forza Italia has dipped in the polls mainly because no one wants to vote for Forza Italia while he's like legally banned from being prime minister. So they're just like, why would I vote for this party? So he's openly sided with La Lega, the racist Italian party that's so racist it's racist against other Italians. And like I said, Fratelli d'Italia, which is the party of all of Mussolini's grandchildren, who have his last name and very proudly put it on posters all across Italy when they're running for election. And that gets them votes. So he's now gone to the European Parliament where he can sit and not break the law, but also while there have like huge diplomatic immunity for all the crimes he's committed. So yeah, now he has access to Brussels technology, which I'm assuming will just make his hip even faster and his skin even smoother to touch.
He's never dying.
He's never
There is no
dying.
end for this man.
No, he will outlive us all.
To return to my original thesis, Berlusconi may be gone, but Berlusconi's swag is still, that's politics, baby. That's the politics we live under.
The man
I
knows
can
how
read-
to ride a vibe.
I can read another bar from Bello Figo's song. I fuck, this is direct translation, not my words. I fuck that pussy, I buy her an MP3 cash. I fuck that pussy, I buy her PlayStation 3. Kai.
Right. Did Italy just
Swag
get
Berlusconi.
MP3 players?
I think this song is from like 2013, like at the height of the Berlusconi drama.
Did we not have Spotify then?
Back then, you wanted a PlayStation 3. Everyone did.
Berlusconi had them, and that was the only way to get them in Italy, to be Berlusconi.
Another
PlayStation
line.
3, oh.
I think this actually sums it up best. I jerk off while the pastor prays. The president and country goes bad, but who cares? Silvio Berlusconi always wears a jacket, always wears a tie. Money in my pocket, pussy in my mind. That's the Berlusconi swag.
That's Italian politics.
Berlusconi doing the soy face.
Say what you will, he always wears a jacket.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's like a cultural thing. I don't know what that means.
Man, when he wears a jacket, you know what that means.
He's in Armenian. Like, okay, so I got a message from my wife recently of just like reminding that the police in Rome, like the police cars in Rome, are just Lamborghinis, very fancy Lamborghinis with like police written on the side of them, and like these yoked Italians come out with like fucking machine guns, and you're just like, what is this country? You have so much style, but you're also so evil.
Yeah.
That's such a better use of a bloated police budget than like the SUV tanks. They should all be Lamborghinis. I support this.
But it's just like, oh
Also,
no,
they like-
the guy we're pursuing went over a steep speed bump. We can't pursue him.
Yeah, no.
This car is so low
you'd be
to the
lucky if
ground.
your fucking squad car just like turns on that day.
Yeah, instead of like all the like drone technology and the tanks the U.S. police have, they're like we all have like I don't know Gucci belts and stuff, and like we don't have the guns are just small pistols.
Every
like
police officer in Rome and Milan is dressed like a North African dictator. Or like one of the Emirates.
Yeah.
Just so much Armani, so much Gucci. Just a small Caribbean nation's wealth worth of
An
clothes.
entire snakeskin uniform.
Yeah. You know, and then the fucking like SWAT team of Italy just has like Gucci tracksuits. Awesome.
Gucci, but when you need to do stuff.
if you will indulge me one little theoretical aside, I mentioned the Berlusconi swag, but I would be remiss if I didn't point out one of my favorite writers, Guy Debord, famously wrote Society of Spectacle in the 60s, and he wrote a very small update in 1989, right before the Soviet Union fell. And
Watch out for
Bunga-Bunga. He
party.
literally said so in the past there was he called it the concentrated and diffuse spectacle, which was the like Soviet Union kind of totalitarian and diffuse like American capitalist versions. And he says the new spectacle is the integrated spectacle that takes versions of both as necessary. And he says it's being pioneered in France and Italy. And I feel like Berlusconi is exactly what he was talking about. It's a country that has that has had an important union Stalinist party, a weak democratic tradition, a long monopoly of power enjoyed by a single party of government, and the need to eliminate an unexpected upsurge in revolutionary activity. And the fruitful union of the two has learned to employ both these qualities on a grander scale. And yeah, I feel like he was talking about Berlusconi when I read that.
The new spectacle is 13 models slowly parading beneath a disco ball.
They're on roller skates. Silvio Berlusconi comes out.
And you don't know how, but you viewing this has paid for his new hipster
Yeah. Shirt undone as low as it possibly can,
Oh,
but yet
yeah.
is still socially acceptable.
Like I come from a proud Irish tradition of like I will unbutton my second button when I have had 4 Guinnesses and not a moment sooner. But Italy is just wild being like, we will button up 1 button. You will see all the hair on my chest
Exactly.
as I
Yeah.
harass everyone around me.
It's two different
Exactly,
approaches to Catholicism.
It's 2 interpretations of the text: 1 button undone or 1 button done. It was different in the original Hebrew and Aramaic. It was very hard to translate.
All right, well,
All right.
that's all I got.
Yeah, I think that is the end of this week's Corner Späti. It has been a wild ride about a man that probably needed 2 or 4 episodes on, but fuck it, we've done it, and we'll probably come back to him.
Yeah, I mean,
You love him.
I love him. Yeah, I have no other way of putting it.
That's
yeah,
what this
I mean,
episode was supposed to do, is get you on his
Yeah.
side.
He makes the most sense of a country that makes no sense.
Yeah. It's the best explainer for the insane politics
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, an old horny dude who runs everything is exactly how I imagined Italy.
Italy, yeah.
The scandals just make it a little spicier. That's all. Is he like not fit for the job? I would never say that. As a proud Italian, I would never fucking say that Silvio Berlusconi
I
is not
voted
fit
for
the
him 3
job.
times.
Oh god, he is the closest you would get to like Kim Jong Un level of personality worship, of just like photos at the front of every classroom of him. that's like say what you will of Lukashenko and Belarus. I think that's actually Italy is the closest to this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And with that, that's been this week's Corner Späti. I'd like to thank Alex for coming on. Alex, do you have any plugs?
Thank you. I learned so much. You can follow me on Twitter at Ptak Jokes, which is PTAK Jokes. I'm sorry for Polish words.
Where you're going to get so many of our fans correcting you on how to pronounce your own name.
Go ahead, send me a message. I won't understand. You can listen to Pod Damn America or Ballin' Out Super if you'd like politics, or a postmodern deconstruction of the show Dragon Ball Z Kai. Your 2 favorite passions. And I might have more stuff coming out soon, so watch the Twitter.
Ooh. Yes, I want to shout out particularly Oh,
I'd like to welcome Alex to the Bunga-Bunga cast. No, not to be confused with Auf Hey Bunga-Bunga. This is just two guys hanging out, talking about broads, you know.
The whole podcast is
term.
just like, you should have seen her. Oh my God. Oh my God.
my eyes flew out of my chest. Wait, what? Hang on. I'm very tired and I've had 3 Thai beers. All right. And with that, do check out all of Alex's stuff on Twitter, his podcast. I really enjoyed the police anime that you made recently. That was wonderful.
Thank you. That's my King Lear. It's my quarantine product.
Many are saying it.
Yes, I've heard this.
It's up there with my other hit radio production, Pedophile High School.
We can't legally promote that in the nation of Germany, but sure, yeah, go on.
You mean to no, fuck off. You mean to tell me that a country that then just literally had a fucking pedophile ring that then came out of the fucking Max Planck Institute that everyone knew can't fucking take pedophile high school as, you know, a serious piece of art.
You know, now that I've had time to receive some feedback on that one, I have no regrets except maybe the aggressive name choice. So check that one out too. It's on the Ballin Super feed.
All right, and with that, we will see all of you next week.
Bye-bye.
Peace out, everyone.
Bonga bonga.